Today, many teenagers are spending hours every day in online video games, talking with friends, competing, building teams, and forming communities. For lots of teens, these digital spaces feel equally as important as hanging out at a cafe. One College Board source supports this. Ferreira explains that research on social environments explains that spaces allow people to build relationships and develop a sense of belonging in a community. This leads to an important question. If multiplayer video games are replacing physical social spaces for teens, are they helping or harming them? Good morning, my name is Christian Jackson, and this is the impact of multiplayer video games on teen obesity and social connection. My research question is, to what extent does participation in multiplayer video games influence the obesity of teens aged 15 to 18 by providing social connection similar to third places? I argue that multiplayer video games do create social connection and reduce loneliness and allow for belonging. However, these benefits do not outweigh the health risks when gaming becomes excessive. A lot of multiplayer games today are highly competitive. Players deal with pressure to win, social conflict, performance anxiety, frustration, and emotional intensity. Jonathan Wells in his study found that playing a video game with violent content elevated physiological and perceived stress markers. This shows that gaming can create changes in the body's stress response. That matters because stress is related to obesity through hormones such as cortisol. Increased cortisol levels may influence fat storage, appetite, cravings, and metabolic functions. So gaming does not only affect obesity through inactivity, it can also affect the body biologically through repeated stress responses. The effects of lack of sleep is important because sleep is tied to metabolism, appetite regulation, energy balance, and weight gain. Terrell explains that longer video game use prior to bedtime is a unique contributor to decline in sleep quality. It means gaming before bed is not just happening alongside poor sleep quality, it is helping cause it. Looking at the graph, the trend shows that as gaming before bed increases, sleep quality declines. This graph is important because it shows that more nighttime gaming leads to worse sleep. That matters for obesity because poor sleep can increase fatigue, cravings, irregular eating, and reduce motivation for physical activity. When teens stay up late gaming, they are not only losing sleep, but they are creating a cycle where they are more tired the next day, less likely to exercise, and more likely to overeat or rely on sugary foods or drinks. Another way gaming contributes to obesity is through eating behavior during and after gaming. Gaming sessions may last for several hours, and during that amount of time, teens might snack without really paying attention to how much they are eating. That becomes concerning when those snacks are chips, candy, fast food, or sugary drinks. Research by Geller found that playing video games influenced by appetite and food intake patterns during and after gameplay. This is important because it reveals that gaming does not just keep teens inactive, but it also may affect how and what they eat. This eventually leads to low movement and extra calorie intake. And when those behaviors pop up over time, they can significantly increase obesity risk. This stimulus shows how gaming can affect obesity through stress. When someone is playing a game, especially a competitive one, they can feel stress, which activates the brain's stress response. That response causes the body to release cortisol. Cortisol matters because it doesn't just affect mood, but it could also affect the body physically. As you can see in the diagram, stress leads to higher blood pressure, changes in glucose, and even more hunger and food intake. So this diagram is important because it shows that gaming may contribute to obesity, not only because teens are sitting for long periods of time, but also the stress of gaming can increase appetite and lead to overeating. On the other hand, multiplayer video games may provide real social benefits. They give teens opportunities to communicate, collaborate, compete together, and build friendships. For some teenagers, to those who feel socially excluded in traditional places, gaming can become one of the few spaces where they feel accepted. For instance, a study from Jamrock explains that some teens who struggle to fit in traditional physical or social spaces find belonging in gaming communities, and that many who struggle with weight mainly play video games together because those environments feel welcoming to them. This indicates that gaming is not just about curing boredom, but creating a community. However, this is evidence that also leads to a problem. If gaming becomes the main source of connection, then teens may be getting belonging in a way that limits movement, increases screen time, and replaces healthier social activities. So even though gaming supports friendship, it creates a lifestyle that raises obesity risk. One solution is not eliminating gaming, but changing the way gaming is experienced. A better solution would be to make gaming more physically active. For example, active video games can combine social interaction with movement. Amy Liu found that games with strong narrative elements and physical interaction improve motivation and participation in exercise programs among children with obesity. This is important because it suggests gaming does not have to require sitting down. Another study by Gomeras found that teens who participated in an active video game program combined with exercise training showed improvements in cardiovascular fitness and higher physical activity levels. This shows that gaming itself is not the problem, but the problem is sitting and inactivity is shown in multiplayer video games today. So if gaming can be redesigned with movement, then it may be possible to keep their social benefits while reducing obesity risk. However, there are also important limitations to the solution. The biggest limitation is that most popular multiplayer games require sitting down. Teens are more likely to play competitive online shooters, sports games, battle royale, or strategy games, rather than more active or movement games. So even though active gaming seems to be the answer, it may not fully replace the games teens play. Another limitation is that obesity is not caused by gaming alone. Other factors also matter, including diet, family habits, access to exercise, stress outside gaming, and sleep routines in general. So gaming should not be treated as the only cause of teen obesity, but based on the evidence, it's a contributing factor, even when it becomes a daily habit. Multiplayer gaming is not entirely harmful, but it often contributes to conditions that increase obesity risk. In conclusion, multiplayer video games do provide social benefits for teenagers. They can create friendships, reduce isolation, and function as social environments similar to third places. But at the same time, multiplayer gaming also encourages long periods of inactivity, poor sleep, stress responses, and unhealthy eating behaviors, which could lead to teen obesity. In the end, participation in multiplayer video games can influence teen obesity, even when those games provide social connections similar to third places. The better solution is to build a balanced strategy that keeps the social aspect but also reduces the health risks. Thank you.
I get it. 2 questions for you. What evidence did you gather that you didn't use, and why did you choose not to use it?
I've gathered some evidence more about more video games talking about how they're competitive and not so related to my topic about obesity. And this is important because the way obesity impacts gaming is that teens are more inactive and less likely to go outside more. So that's why.
All right. And what advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic in the future?
So other researchers that are researching about this topic, I would encourage them to talk about more positives and negatives equally, because even though the negatives are more talking about inactivity, the positives still show social aspects of video games, and so the balance between inactivity and social aspects weigh together.